What's going on, my friends? If you lately notice where I've been in my dad's office up in here, using it for a little while. Been back home here since I've been on the road traveling quite a bit. Of course, pretty soon here, I'm going to be making a change here and going back from, I don't know if y'all know that I've been living in an RV off and on between the last 2 years from here to there. And sold my condo about a couple years ago, but we're going back to living condo life or a house here pretty soon here, so because I've got to have my studio back in one place and an option to be mobile. It's something I really need to get back to doing. I guess I've gotten that all out of my system, and it's good to get back to do that. But anyway, I want to get on topic here. Something I want to talk about here. I tried to do a video earlier and the audio was so bad, so I'm just going to redo it. So I'm going to upload it. Doing live videos are great, but if I'm in my car, the audio gets screwed up, so I have to remember that. But be that it may, yesterday's video I talked about, don't burn bridges being an ass or unprofessional to some of these people in the industry. And the second half of that is moving your music around. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about there was an answer or kind of some take on Rashid Cummings' comment yesterday. I appreciate you. Hope I didn't mispronounce your name, but you kind of made a comment on, libraries you're already signed with, you feel like they're ghosting you if you submitted music. It's taken almost 6 months, and I totally feel your pain on that, man. I really do. I think right now the biggest issue is just people are backlogged, understaffed, and they're changing platforms. And I think I've noticed, I think DL Music might be doing this. I know Hal told me in an email the other day DL Music is doing a new website platform. So I asked him, I said, y'all been quiet lately, DL's the one music that I've got probably almost 900 pieces of music with, and they haven't gotten me really a lot of placements over the years compared to my other publishers. But I'm still sending them music because you never know. It's going to be kind of the point to what I'm going to talk about in a minute. But to your point, I think the best thing to do is just kind of put it back in their court and just be cool. Just say, hey, if you're sending music to somebody new, excuse me, I don't know what it is. Every time I do a video, I got to sneeze or something. It's one of those things. But anyway, could be this room, if you're doing music to somebody new and it's been 3 months and you've, asked from time to time, I would just say, hey, listen, I'm good either way, but maybe once you get established or are able to, I can send you more music later if it's okay. Maybe I can take this music to someone else. You tell me, I'll do whatever. I still want to be able to send you music, I kind of appeal to, their shortcoming, and not in a bad way, but in a good way, and just kind of let them tell you, and that might go, let me listen to this music. Let me see it might put the fire under them. The situation I had some time ago was I had somebody he and his partner had a sub pub with Universal. I guess they still do, but last year I sent him about 15 tracks, and it took him a while. He said, I love it. I sent it over there to him and try to get him to listen to it, and every few weeks I would email, and he'd say, hey, I'll email him again so I can get him to listen to it, blah, blah, blah. And I eventually I put that question. I said, listen, I know you told me y'all aren't quite up and running. I can send you some music later. I'll check in from time. Once you're up and running, I'll get you some more music. Maybe I just commit this elsewhere. You tell me what you want to do. He goes, that's fine. It's okay. Just check with me time to time. Not a problem. I said, I don't want to burn bridges with you. He goes, no, you're not. You're all good. Don't worry about that. You're kind of putting it in his court to say, that's okay. You're kind of letting them off the hook in a nice way, if that's really the better way of putting it. But don't ever be a jerk to these people, whatever circumstances, because remember one thing, and I said this yesterday, and this is probably the most important thing I can say. The bridges you burn today can be the bridges you may have to cross tomorrow. So you remember that. Because like these supervisors I said yesterday, a lot of these people in these libraries, they switch companies, they switch job titles, switch jobs. And you may be with a library that one of those supervisors are working for as a music supervisor at that library, or they're a coordinator of the catalog, or hold the key to what's going on. They may cut you off from doing music and put you in the dark side. They know, I know who that guy is being a jerk to me, or I know who that is. You just don't know, and it's reality, and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's, you gotta remember that, which leads to whatever you do, you gotta. I guess I'm talking this because I see this stuff in the music forums, the Facebook groups, a lot of this stuff, and so worried about a reversion clause or perpetuity and not being able to remove your music from a catalog. With instrumental music, just let it go. Just leave it there and keep moving forward. Keep writing music. It's good to keep it there. I hate to tell you that. I've got tracks that have been in libraries 8 years before they got placements. In fact, this last statement, I had a particular track that was in there over 10 years. It's just now getting placed. It happens. I don't know. There's no rhyme, reason, or formula to it. That's just the nature of this business. It's the nature in life, You just don't know. It's whatever fits a certain opportunity. And that track might, it's in somebody's system. They've downloaded it. And that's the thing about it, is once it gets in their system, eventually it's going to come around, it's going to fit a project. That's why this is a volume business. They always say it's a volume business. And I hate to tell you, it takes some work. I'll finish the year at 275 tracks, and I want to do over 300 next year. It's a lot, but it's a lot of work. You got to put the time in it. Listen, here's the way I see it. You do a queue a day. Now, singer-songwriter and trailer stuff is different. But if you do a queue a day and then devote some time each week to other things you like to do musically, that's 300 and something cues a year. Now, in reality, when you take a break, you're probably not going to do 365 cues a year. But you never know. You might. So be thinking of that. But the thing is I want you to remember one thing, and this is, as I said before, I'm not the be-all, end-all, guys, and I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. I'm telling you what I've learned and things I've heard music supervisors say, and not just them, libraries. I've heard so many people in this industry, and some of you watching this video will agree and know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as you move it from that library and you move it elsewhere, that track just became more of a liability. Now, what I will strongly encourage you not to do is when you move it from that library, don't put that same track and be a good track in different places. Because these people in the industry, if they hear the same track in more than one place, they're not going to use it. They're more inclined not to use it unless they know that track. Because they already know it's a liability. They don't know if it's in multiple places. And the big one is if they hear the same track they recognize and it's retitled. That's a big no-no. Retitling has kind of become a thorn in the industry side, and it's caused a lot of problems when it comes to trying to figure out who's getting paid for what. When you hear the same track, and whether it's non-exclusive libraries, which library is getting paid, which title, whose is it, what's going on? Did you take one of those titles and move the same title to another publisher? And then they got to go through and find out which publisher it came from that network or wherever. It's just one of those things you're going to cause problems. It's going to get you kicked to the curb before anybody else. This is the reason why these guys are so protective of trusted sources. There are things they have to be careful of what they're doing. You move your music from library to library, you're not only the track is a liability, but I'm going to tell you, you might not want to hear this, but this is true. You're burning bridges, man. Because when you take it out of that library and you put another library, some libraries might not either take music from you again, or if they understand what you're trying to do. Like if you say, hey, listen, I want to redo it and put it back in. Of course, they may let you do that or tell you to retitle it. I've been in that situation. I've done that. I actually took a few tricks out. I redid them, retitled them, put them back in, and they're getting placements now. There was some from years ago I knew I could make them better, and it paid off. It doesn't happen a lot, and a lot of times you just want to keep going and forget about those tracks. But I saw something in those tracks, and it happens. There are those rare times. But just know that 9/10 of those libraries, they're not going to take that music back. Once you took it out of that library and you go to another one, you take it out of there and you go to another, they're not going to take that music back. And you do enough of that, they're going to quit taking music from you altogether. Remember these things. You're burning bridges. Because there you go back and say, hey, I was going to put this back in your library. Like, no, I'm not touching that. I don't know where it's been. I don't know where that music's been. I can't do it. Because there's a liability to that. Is a liability. They don't want to have to call their attorney and their insurance company for errors and omissions and go, I got a situation on my hands. And apparently there's been a conflict of interest, a copyright infringement or something, or you violated your contract and they didn't have to do all that, but you violated your contract and you get booted off from that library. That's happened. And on the next video, I'm going to talk about be careful who you collaborate with. Because some of you watch this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The situation I was in about a year and a half ago, and some of you others. We're going to talk about that. You know, don't get on these sites, and there's some out there, it's like dating sites, like collaborate with anybody and all this stuff. And just get all gung-ho, because if you don't know what people are doing, that'll get you in legal trouble quicker than anything. It'll kill your career before it even gets started. Please. So, don't be so hell-bent in moving this stuff around. Don't be worried about whether it's in perpetuity. That's actually a good thing, because if a library wants to take your track and put it in perpetuity, and especially if they want to give you upfront consideration money, they're going to work to get it placed and get their investment back. But they believe in that music. And probably half the libraries I deal with is in perpetuity. Because when you ask them why, they say because there's a liability. Our clients are comfortable knowing that I have my tracks in perpetuity in the library. They know they're not going to see them somewhere else and wonder what's going on. And listen, it's all because of things that have happened in the past in the industry. This is the reason why non-exclusive is invaluable, has no value anymore. You may disagree with me, and there are just a few, very few libraries that are non-exclusive that get you placements. But if they let you put them elsewhere, you killed the value in that music, and you created a red flag for people going, I've heard that on that other site, we're not using it. You might get it on one site and some here and there, but you're killing it. That's why non-exclusive is really not the way to go anymore. And I will tell you based on experience that 9/10, if not all my placements, have gone through exclusive libraries, whether they were perpetuity or you had a reversion clause. My thing is I would just assume leave it there. I made the mistake one time, and I did a video. I talked about that. And if I'm wrong, I'm honest, I'll tell you. I went against it, and I pulled a track from a publisher, and I pulled it 2 weeks before my royalty statement came in. Damn, if the royalty statement didn't come back 2 weeks later, and I saw that track placed on The Voice on NBC. Now, mind you, I feel better knowing that I've had a few tracks more placed on The Voice since then, so I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to do that again. Just set it, forget it, and don't fret it. That's my rule. I stick to it. I've gone against it one time, and I learned my lesson. It bit me in my ass. And you should do. Please. Just don't hark on that. Just set it, forget it, and don't fret it. That's what I've always lived by, and that's the way it is. Move forward. Keep writing new music. Now, I understand if there's a song, you had a really good song was in the library for 3 or 4 years, and that library is specifically for singer-songwriter, and they said, we'll get it placed. And they just haven't done it. And if you ask them if they've pitched it and they haven't, and you're just another spoke in the wheel or another needle in the haystack, you can pull it and put it somewhere else, but do not put that song anywhere else. Make sure it's out of that library, and the next clients hear it only at that library. Now, mind you, you may place it to a library, it's going to be perpetuity. You know, and that's the thing about know what you're signing before you get into it. If you don't want perpetuity, that's your business. Don't sign the contract. But if you know it's a library that's going to place that song numerous times, or that piece of music, and they're going to get you a lot of other placements by volume, who cares? Just do it. It's a volume business. Listen, I've forgotten about music that I've done so much. I've got probably, if I were to guess, somewhere around 1,200 tracks out there, and which equates to about 2,000 pieces of music. That's alt mixes, stems, and everything that's out there. So out of the last 11, 12 years, probably 12, it's not a bad deal. Probably longer than that, because before I started doing film music, I was releasing music. But you get the point. I got a lot of music out there spinning around. You know, I really do. So just keep these things in mind, guys. Keep them in mind, because there's so much changing in this business. There's a lot of things going behind the scenes you don't know. That legally they're going to Washington, and a lot of stuff they're negotiating. They're going to get soon here TikTok to start paying money for your music. SoundCloud, they're going to get them to start paying. SoundCloud's going to start getting in, if they're probably already in distribution and stuff, the mechanicals, but they start paying performance royalties. I get performance royalties on a lot of these internet radio. You know, you get enough tracks out of it, and if you get on playlists, it equates to some things. There's money there, more than you think. Not as much as you want, and it's getting better. The Music Modernization Act was a start, but it's not where we need to be. Nowhere near it. But I got to commend them for doing something. So in time, they're going to be, I think they just upped the rate of pay on streaming there was a raid hike somewhere, and they said it in a forum, in a panel, my bad, at the PMC this year. And there's a guy by the name of David Israelite. I think that's his name. Big attorney in the industry. He's just a guy and a few others that go fight for your rights to get your royalties. That's why it's probably important to pay close attention to maybe going to these production music conferences to listen to this guy. They tell you what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know it. And you think there's nothing going on. No one's fighting for you, but they are. Kind of wish they would fight a little bit harder. But you know how it is. Rome wasn't built in a day. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. I wanted to kind of touch base on that and cover that. But we're going to talk about a couple things next time I get on about who you should collaborate and who you shouldn't with. And some of you will know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about this. But anyway, I'm going to get off. I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Be cool. Bye.